Yo, what's going on, everybody? Bourgie86 back up in this. And what I got for you guys right now, I'm actually going to be doing my top 25 retro horror releases of 2015. There was a lot of interesting and great releases of last year with a lot of good companies coming forward with Blu-ray releases, a few DVD releases too, that ones I picked up, and with like Massacre Video and another company coming into this list, foreshadowing. But I wanted to do two honorable mentions from Intervision real quick, and that is the two Bruno Mattei zombie films they released last year, and that is Island of the Living Dead and Zombies the Beginning. Great releases by Intervision, which is part of Severin. And I love like the cheesiness of these films. So these were going to be on the list, but they got knocked off by a few releases that I forgot I owned. And because it's been a while since I bought some of these releases. And I recommend these two. These are high recommendations for releases of the year. And another one I wanted to recommend is this double feature of Bonnie's Kids and the Centerfold Girls from Gorgon Video. Awesome double feature. Gorgon is just doing awesome things, and I wish they would release more stuff, so I recommend this double feature of Bonnie's Kids and the Centerfold Girls. Awesome film, especially if you like exploitation films. Great stuff. Alright, with that being said, sip a beer and then we'll get into the list. Okay, number 25. We have a DVD from a company called Videonomicon, which is, I believe, a Canadian company. This is a Canadian release. And it's a film I never heard of until people were showing off this release. I was interested in it because I heard like stories of it being a bad film and stuff, and I watched it. It is a bad film. It's on the level of it's bad, but it's still fun to watch because it's cheesy and is all hell. And this film is Science Craze from Videonomicon. Great release. It has some interesting features on it, like interview with one of the stars, and what else does it have? A few interviews with a few other people in a commentary track, which was a really well done release, and how they put this film together for this release was very interesting. It explained it before you played the film. Excuse me. Yeah, number 25, Science Craze. Number 24, we have a double feature from Scream Factory, which was two Italian films that I haven't seen, but I've been wanting to see. It's the double feature of Ghost House and Witchery. Ghost House, of course, the Umberto Lenzi cheese film, which got some infamy with the Riff Tracks DVD of it out. And Witchery was originally released by Shriek Show with David Hasselhoff and Linda Blair. A fun double feature, especially if you like your cheesy, like Italian films. Awesome release by Scream Factory. Number 23, we have from Raro Video, Play Motel, which is a awesome release by Raro of this sleazy giallo film that I never seen before until it was released by Raro. I actually haven't even heard of this one. Very sleazy and well done and shot and stuff. And Great cast. It has Ray Love in it from a few Italian films like Let Sleeping Corpses Lie and stuff like that. And yeah, I highly recommend this release by Raro. If you've seen these before, they have the alternative covers and booklets and stuff and features. Great release. At number 21, we have one from a film that was released cut in the UK, and until recently when Olive Films and Slasher Video put out this Blu-ray and DVD release of this film. I have the Blu-ray of it, which I'll get into it in a minute when I show it, and that's Killer Workout, also known as Aerobicide. This transfer is from a beta tape, I believe. That's what it says on the back. Now, the transfer, for what it is, it's not the most like amazing transfer ever. I don't even know why they actually put this on Blu-ray, but I'm just glad this film has a release now for people to see it, because I've heard this film over the years and the infamy and the cheesiness of it, but I have never seen it because it didn't really have like a release over here. I think it was only released on VHS and beta back in the late 80s. So this is awesome that this came out. I do recommend it. It has a few features on it. And yeah, awesome release. Killer Workout. Number 21. 22 actually, yep. 22, my bad. I'm always losing count on these. And number 21, we have, I think it's, yeah, 21. We have from Mondo Macabro, The Fan. I actually forgot this came out in 2015. It's been a while since I actually purchased this film. Really fun, like, slow burn film with the transfer on this is amazing. It has some cool features with like interview with the film's director, liner notes. I don't even know why it's so low, because there were so many awesome releases that came after this one. But this is still an awesome release from Mondo. I can't wait to see what they do next. And can't wait for Liz in the Woman's Skin. Awesome stuff. Number 20, we have from Vinegar Syndrome. I believe this was limited at one point. Now it's in a non-limited. I believe it's not limited anymore. I'm not sure, because they still have copies of this available. And that is the Crypt of the Living Dead with the bonus film House of the Living Dead. Awesome, like 70s films from Vinegar Syndrome with awesome transfers. Vinegar Syndrome is really doing some awesome stuff with their transfers and the film titles that they choose. And this is no exception with the atmosphere of Crypt of the Living Dead. Awesome release. Number 19, we have The Legacy from Scream Factory, which is a film that I know had a DVD release. I was actually picking it up soon on DVD, and then they announced it. I was like, I canceled that cart real quick. It stars Sam Elliott and Roger Daltrey and Catherine Ross, who actually, they're a married couple in real life, Catherine Ross and Sam Elliott. Fun film from the late 70s with great like story and atmosphere. I actually really enjoyed this. A few features on it, nothing really too spectacular, but I just like how they did the menu and stuff. That's what really sold me when I popped it in. So number 19. Number 18, we have the limited to 500 DVD from Massacre Video of Alien Beasts and Mutant Massacre 2. Great release by Massacre Video with from films by Carl J. Soninik, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Really interesting, like features and stuff, and I love how, like, if you haven't seen how Massacre Video usually does their releases, they have the reversible cover art. That one's for Mutant Massacre too. This has 2 discs too, which is awesome. Great release. See, it's limited to 500. I think these are still actually available on their site. I'm not sure. So if you do want to pick one up, grab one, because they do go out fast, especially at that number. That was at I was at 18. At number 17, we have from Arrow Video, the first Arrow to hit the list, and that is the release of Island of Death on Blu-ray, a video nasty, and it's a very bizarre film, I have to say. I reviewed this. It was actually one of my first co-reviews I ever did with the horror file, and it's a trip, I have to say. But this version of the film, excuse me, has some great, like, special features, like with the director Nico Mascarakis going back to the island to show you, like, where scenes were filmed. Really interesting stuff by Arrow, I have to say. Great transfer too. That was at number 17. At number 16, we have the Synapse release of Mosquito with Gunnar Hansen. Rest in peace to Gunnar Hansen. Really fun film with, especially if you like your giant killer bug films, which I do. This is a release that you must own, and it has an awesome, like, documentary going into Mosquito with new interviews with Gunnar Hansen and the cast and crew of the film. And this also has reversible cover art. If you usually see, like, the cover, that this is actually the reversible one. Great release by Synapse. Number 15, we have from Scream Factory, one that I was stoked for when they were going to release it, and that is the release of Scarecrows, which is a film I used to watch all the time when I was a kid. It was the copy I had was actually on a burnt VCR tape with 3 other films on it. And this release is stoked because I haven't seen that film since that time period. And the transfer is awesome. A few special features like commentary and a few interviews with, like, the makeup artist and one of the actors in the film. Really interesting stuff. And it has reversible cover art. It goes with that cover or the cover you see when you purchase the film right there. Great release by Scream Factory. Number 14, we have from Vinegar Syndrome the release of Madman, which is a very obscure 81 slasher. I believe this came out in 81. Yup, 81, with the Madman Mars. The film itself has its own problems, I will admit, like with characters and stuff, but the Madman Mars character makes up, and there's some awesome kills in this one. And it actually has the chick from Dawn of the Dead in it, Galen Ross. Great transfer, because I'm glad that this got a wider release, because as we all know, like, Code Red had it, and then the Anchor Bay DVD was out of print. So stuff like this makes me excited, because Vinegar Syndrome, the titles they grab, and I hope they get more like obscure slashers from this period. Awesome release by Vinegar Syndrome. I know Arrow released that. I don't know a lot about that edition. I believe it's probably like the same transfer, probably. It probably has, I don't know about the features on it though. I had to read up on it. But depends. It's just good that it's released wider than it was before. Number 13, we have from Severin, the Nightmare Castle Blu-ray with the 2 bonus films of Castle of Blood and Terror Creatures from the Grave. Awesome release by Severin with interviews with Barbara Steele and a bunch of special features. It's loaded. It's a great release. And if you're a fan of Barbara Steele, I highly recommend this release. It has audio commentary with Barbara Steele. It has a lot of features on it, like interview with Barbara Steele and an interview with the director of Nightmare Castle, who passed away this year recently, which sucks. And yeah, I really like this. The black and white looks fantastic in HD. Highly recommend that release. At number 12, I have also from Vinegar Syndrome. A few Vinegar Syndromes on this list. And that is the release of Demonoid, which is an awesome release, I have to say, because it's a film I never heard of until they announced it. It stars Samantha Eggar, who was in The Brood and Curtains. And it's a Killer Hand film, which is awesome, because there's a lot of Killer Hand films that I didn't know existed until I saw these ones coming out. And I'm excited that this got a release. It's a very fun film, I have to say. And the cover art on is awesome. It has a few features on it with like the director. And it also has the 2 versions of the film under its other title, Macabre. If you see that right there. Which is dope that they did that. Awesome release by Vinegar Syndrome. And number 11, we have this release by the Bad Daddies of Arrow. It really was the year of Arrow video this year. Who released a lot of great titles from different genres, especially the horror genre. And that release is of Contamination. Sick ass release loaded with special features of this. Pretty much is an Alien ripoff with an awesome score by Goblin, directed by Luigi Cosi. This slipcover is great. You see how it like colors, and it's just loaded with features. Though I didn't grab the Blue Underground DVD, so I was stoked when they announced this, because I was gonna grab the Blue Underground, but this is an awesome release to have by Arrow. Highly recommend it. That was at number 11. Okay, we're going to get into the top 10. First, beer sip. Love doing these lists. Alright, at number 10, we have from Severin, another big hitter in releases. And they're releasing some great stuff for 2016, so I'm excited for that. And this release is of Vampire Lesbos, the Jess Franco film. Sexy edition loaded with features. And the slipcover, if you have seen it, it has nudity on it. Great release by Severin with some awesome artwork. I love how they did that with the slipcover and stuff for the title. Awesome release by Severin, as usual. They do some awesome stuff. Number 9, we have a David Cronenberg film that was released by Criterion this year, and of course that is The Brood. Awesome release by Criterion. Great transfer of this film. I was super stoked when Criterion finally announced this. I knew they had the rights for it for a while. And it has some interviews and documentary with Samantha Eggar and Mike Erwin and a few of Cronenberg's people that he's worked with in the past, like Rick Baker. And it also has a bonus film, Crimes of the Future, which is a 1970 film Cronenberg directed, as a bonus feature, which is pretty fucking awesome. And it also has like stock interviews with Oliver Reed. Dope release by Criterion. They're always a great company with their stuff. Still got it. Number 9, we have. Everyone's gonna be like, "Why is this so high in the top 10?" Well, there was a lot of like stuff that I liked a little bit. This is a great release. Don't get me wrong, but I like a lot of like other films besides this one. This one wasn't. The release itself is amazing, but the film, it's not a decent watch film. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. And that is Society by Brian Nusa. Still a great film. And this edition is awesome by Arrow. It had to be in the top 10 with the case all embossed. Even if you like, I flipped this card over to see like the cases imagery. It comes with like a graphic novel, like a graphic novel sequel to the film, and it's loaded with features. Arrow did a fucking awesome job with this film. Films like Society and other ones that Arrow put out don't really deserve this treatment. They're just the fucking best company in the world for this awesome release by Arrow. At number 7, we have a Scream Factory title, and that is Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. If you know about this, this is an awesome release by Scream Factory, and it has a lot of bonus features on the film with interviews with K&B and other interviews with Wes and commentary track and interviews with a few stars of the film. Great release by Scream Factory, and that's probably one of the best cover art Scream Factory has today, with the purple tinge and the purples in it. Awesome release. At number 6, we have the Grindhouse release of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, which is a dope-ass release by Grindhouse. They always do amazing stuff with their films. If you know you've seen this, it comes with the soundtrack, 2-disc Blu-ray set, and a Criterion case. And this slip is it's one of those side slips there. This glows in the dark if you have the lights off. Everyone's seen these before. I'll fix that after. But yeah, awesome release by Grindhouse. So I was super stoked with this one. And it has the soundtrack by Fabio Frezzi, which is awesome. So you could jam to it. Dope ass release by Grindhouse right there. Alright. We are getting into the top 5. Number 5, we have from Scorpion releasing Umberto Lenzi's Spazmo. I never saw this film. I know it had a release from Streak Show previously. And I have to say, this film is beautiful to look at. It surprised the fuck out of me. Like, when I popped it in and heard that opening score by Ennio Morricone, I was fucking amazed. And it's just a bizarre film with great performances by Susie Kendall and Robert Hoffman. And it's got Ivan Rossimo and some awesome stuff. And a great giallo film directed by Umberto Lenzi, who's one of my favorite Italian directors. Great stuff right there. Number 4, we have, if you haven't watched my last video, you know I picked this up recently. And that is the Arrow release of Blood Rage. Fucking sick ass edition by Arrow. I really was super stoked when this got released because this is the first time it had like any type of media release. I know it had like a VHS maybe, but on DVD and Blu-ray, and it's fucking sick. And they really did fucking well with this film. It's wicked awesome with the 3 versions of the film that are on the uncut. What is it? Original home video version, which is, and then it has the theatrical version, and then it has the version of you put both versions together to make one ultimate version of the film. Super dope release by Arrow with the slipcover and the features, 3 discs, dope shit right there. Top 3, you ready? Number 3, also from Arrow Video, and that is the Steelbook, A Black and Blood Lace by Mario Bava. Sick ass fucking release. With the transfer on this film is so beautiful to look at, and it has some awesome features. It has the short film Yellow on it, which is superb for a Neo Giallo, and it has like interviews with like a bunch of people like Lamberto Bava, Dario Argento, I believe Martino's on this too. Interviews with like people that know Bava and studied Bava and were inspired by Bava. It's a fucking well done documentary. And the art on this fucking thing is so sexy. Super stoked, and I'm glad. If you want to pick this up, this is region free. So go on and import this. I know that it was supposed to be released in the States, but VCI fucked us out of a great release. But you can still import it. I got it for relatively cheap. I got it during one of their sales. Awesome stuff. Number 2, we have from Cult Epics. No surprise here. And that is their release of Anks, which is a film that I didn't know really anything about. And it surprised the hell out of me when I watched it. And it has some great like special features with a prologue, introduction by Gaspar Noé, interviews with Aaron Ledger and the director, and it has like, yeah, the interview with the director is done by Jörg Bergereit, who Cult Epics released a few of his films already. And it's just a really beautiful film, and it looks great on Blu-ray. And this comes with a booklet like this thick. I probably showed it in my review. And it has an alternate cover on the slip. And it's just heavy, and it's just well done release by Cult Epics. It's one of the best releases of the year, and it should be on everyone's list. Anks. And at number 1, this is no surprise, it is another Arrow Video, and that is the Black Cast box set with Lucio Fulci's The Black Cat in your Vice. There's a locked room, and only I have the key. Fucking, I love this box set. It's so like pristine and detailed, and it comes with this awesome booklet, and both films are in their own cases. Dope ass release by Arrow. Love me some Italian stuff. Pristine. Dope. Alright guys, that's all I got. I know like there's a few releases that I didn't get to pick up yet, like Cannibal Ferox. A few of the other Scream Factories. Blood and Lace I actually have coming in the post, so I haven't seen that release yet. It's one I've been wanting to see from Scream Factory. And a few like of another like few of the Kino classic lines that are horror that I never picked up. But I'll be grabbing those soon, so if you have any releases that are your favorites that you want me to check out, or your opinions, I'd like to hear what your favorites were. So leave them in the comments, and as always, I'll see you next video. Peace out.